have, and it may be this.
You think it
The
may be the
legacy,
same?
the legacy standard may be the 95.
I'll have to look that up. I bet it's almost. I bet there's a lot of equivalence there.
Yeah, I don't know. You're talking about that, and you're talking about gender inclusive language, which you do, because there are times you do have to go through and make a distinction between anthropos and andros.
Sure.
You know, man and man. Well,
right, mankind
versus a male,
right,
who is a gender male. You know,
right,
to understand this is a single man,
sure,
not a man and a woman. In that whole argument of that, you had the Me Too movement.
Yeah, I know.
And that came out of Hollywood. And then you got the Church Too movement. That thing is unraveling faster than my hair out of a rubber band.
It really, which is very fast, is
Yeah.
what Pastor's trying to say.
Yeah.
There. Yeah, it's, yeah, that's why I don't like it.
Have you been reading, keeping up with any of that?
A little bit of it. I saw that Julie Roys and Megan Basham are going back and forth on Twitter, and
boy, I'm telling you, man, that thing has just come undone.
well, do you want to talk about it here?
No. It's not for us. But
well, you're the point.
But
you're
the
making,
point is, the pendulum always swings
right,
way too far, either side.
Well, and this is part of that. You know, this is from 5 years ago. They're like, well, we're going to do this. We're going to keep the NASB translation, which is stellar, but we're just going to try to make in their minds, it was like, let's make it more clear by, instead of saying mankind, we just say people, or we say, instead of mankind, we say men and women. Well, yes, okay, so you're getting a different meaning across, but that's one of those situations where it feels better to just leave the actual word that was there. That, to me, that's how
I
it feels.
doubt that we've got a lot of Sir Lancelot Andrews around these days.
I don't even know who that is.
He was the guy that headed up the translation of the King James and knew
the
all these, versions. The King James to me is probably the standard. The English is just so archaic.
Right.
That it's hard for people. Its poetry is beautiful. Its translation is accurate as you probably can get. That's why I like this. It doesn't flow like the King James, but the translation is about as accurate as you can get to the text.
It is more. I've actually done a little bit of reading on this recently, just because with knowing some people that are King James onlyists, and they dogmatically say, well, this is God's intention. This is the best. There can be no better English translation, but there's several texts that's like, it's just not good.
There's an independent Baptist preacher that I just love to listen to, and I won't mention his name.
Please don't.
But he has made the statement before that I can take the King James and correct the Greek with it. And I'm thinking, oh, come on. That's a hoot, but that's a...
The King James is not inerrant, is what we're trying to say.
Yes, the translation is not. The translation of it is not. Dr. Vines often said that, and of course he uses the King James, but he's not a King James only.
Well, you do a great job of this. Like, there's times when you'll even say, like, this is how it's rendered in the English, NASB 95. But let me tell you you even said that yesterday. Let me tell you what the Greek more literally says, just to get the point across.
Yeah. It does help when you take Greek that you can read it, and even though it does not communicate out clearly in English,
right, grammatical differences.
If you work with the Greek enough, you begin to catch a flavor that is there. That I see, like what I was saying yesterday about I came forth, the aorist tense there. I came forth from the Father. Exalathon, para tu, patros, that I came out of the Father. Now, you're not going to say that in English.
Right.
So you need to deal with the text, you need to deal with the language a little bit here.
Well,
to get the force of what and then he just turns around and he says, I have come into this world. I have come out of the Father and I have come into this world.
Yeah, you talked about how we can use that verse. You could preach the whole gospel from that
Through
verse.
that verse right there. You really can. I was thinking about that early this morning again.
Oh, yeah?
I was just thinking, you know, how you and I have talked about making this coming year a year of genuine discipleship and evangelism.
Right, for sure.
We're building a building, we believe. You know,
Looks
nothing
like
is
it.
definite until, you know,
Ground
it's
is
done.
broken, yeah.
So we believe that we're building this building. It's much needed for all kind of space, Sunday school space or life group space, and gathering space.
Yeah.
For our congregation to have more places to gather. So, in doing that, we don't want the year to be centered on a building.
Right, you don't want to stop doing the ministry.
We want to center on discipleship and evangelism. So, in doing that, that's basically kind of the direction I'm taking for this Sunday.
Well, yeah, I was going to mention that because
Yeah.
it seems like you're really excited about this direction you're going.
I am, and I've just started writing the introduction. I've gotten maybe 2 sentences into the introduction. But anyway.
Is this going to be one of those messages where the introduction lasts 40 minutes and then you're like, now I'm going to start preaching?
Yeah. That's
I love it when you do that.
You know, I'd do that. I'd get too long. I would grade off on guys. You know, in
That's why I
my
love to
preaching
preach.
class. You know, man, why do you make the introduction so long? Well, I'm just doing what you do. Do not do what I do.
Dr. Brunson's hypocrisy.
Yeah, that's right.
So what text
My
are you-
preaching professor used to, I'm not going to tell you the text, but I'll tell you when
Okay,
we're off the
all
air.
right, all right.
But I want it to be a surprise.
Okay, good.
It is out of one of the Gospels. It's the only miracle in all
right,
four
right,
Gospels. And it is a bizarre miracle after a major event that we all know about. And it's probably one of the least preached on miracles of Jesus.
Okay, I'm going to take some guesses once we're off. I meant to look it up. After you said that, I meant to look it up, and I forgot to do that. I got distracted. But back to the text from yesterday.
Yeah.
I think and I want to talk. We'll talk more about the evangelism initiative. But the thing is, like I didn't see you go. I actually said this to the team ahead of time. I was like, I opened up the text and I talked a little bit about the peace of Christ, and I said, like, this is really hitting me today. This is even before I heard the message. I'm like, this is really hitting me today. I'm like, I apologize. Well, Jared wasn't there. I apologize if I'm stepping on Pastor Mac's toes, but then the laugh line was, but most of the time when I think I know what's going to come out of this text, Pastor comes and surprises me. And then you went into the Trinity, and I was like, oh, yeah, of course. So what else do you want to tell us about the Trinity?
Hey, let me ask one thing before we get
Okay.
into that.
All right.
I can't think of his name, plays bass from time to time.
Yeah.
And I pointed out that Santa Claus was in the...
That's Warren Byerly.
Yeah,
And
Warren.
I tried to start a thing with you on stage, like, how dare you be mean to Warren? And then I threw you off, so I apologize for that.
I couldn't hear what you were saying. I didn't understand what you said.
I was trying to cause a scene, and it kind of fell flat. But Warren loved it.
I looked up there and I saw him. I said, my stars, that's Santa Claus in the choir.
Got St. Nicholas himself.
Bald head, white hair on the
perfect.
side,
His
big
beard is
white
perfect.
beard.
He looks
Looked
great.
just like Santa
He
Claus.
looks great, and the point is perfect, right? Because we're not. That's
He needs to gain about 300 pounds, and then he'd be right for Santa Claus at Christmas, and perfect for a Southern gospel group.
I need to
the rest of the year.
sing bass for a Southern
Yeah.
gospel group.
Yeah.
That especially 300 pounds. Yeah. I keep telling him, I'm like, you're turning down some valuable opportunity. Like he could be a hired Santa. He could be a mall Santa. I mean, he could do the whole thing.
He could be a Macy's Santa Claus.
He looks great. He plays bass.
But it's just too funny. When I looked up, I thought, my Lord, there's Santa Claus is up there.
Worshiping the Lord.
And he's
Santa
got on
Claus.
a red flannel shirt. I mean, the whole deal. If he'd have had some red suspenders on, I'd have lost it.
Santa Claus knows who is to be worshipped. at Valleydale Church.
Yes. And listen, the horns yesterday were fabulous.
They were killing it, man.
They really were. They had some volume to them.
Yeah,
it was up like they were up there like professionals, like they just knew they were going to hit the note, and they were just
some of them have played professionally before. They're for real.
They're great.
But they're the most passionate. I mean, they are so passionate about getting it right and that sort of thing. You know, they joke with me because they'll show up and they'll be like, "What are the cuts? Like, which measure number is this?" I'm just like, just feel it. Just they hate it when I do that. Just feel it out, you guys. So they've actually made me a lot better because I have to take more stringent notes. Okay, we cut this, we moved this over here, that sort of thing. All I do is pick 3 songs. Just pick 3, and then I'm done for the week. That's all it is.
Son, if you had to, what did you say they ask you? Where the
measure note? Measure note. It's like the Bible's divided into verse
numbers. When I see it take me
numbers.
the week to figure that just one thing out. So I couldn't do it.
Musicians only have to count to 4 most of the time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you start over.
Yeah.
But with measure numbers, well, that's right out because you can, they go up into the hundreds, and so you can imagine how much that confuses me.
Oh my
having to count past 4.
Hey, and do you know what I did yesterday too? I know I'm ADD this morning.
I've got to tell you something too.
In my second sermon, I forgot to announce my sermon points. Man, I just got so carried away with the whole thing. I just launched into it.
You jumped in.
And I thought, after I got into point 1, I thought, well, you never said the point.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, I can't do that again. And so when I got into point 2, I thought, well, I didn't even tell him that point.
Yeah, you didn't tell him. The guys on the computer, it was Pike yesterday on the computer. He's like, well, I guess I'll just put it up there.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything.
Pike also texted me mid-service, said, use service 1.
I forgot to announce the point. Did y'all pick that up?
I did, because I was at the end. I'm like, I don't think he's going to talk about it, because you started your closing illustration. I'm like, I guess he's not going to. My poor kids, they're like, Dad, how do I take notes? I'm like, well, just write down something memorable.
I've already warped the mind of the next generation.
Write down that illustration about what if God was one of us. I'm so mad I didn't know which song you were talking about.
Yeah,
I thought that Lee Nash wrote that song. That's why I was confused. Because who sang
Jonah
it?
Osborne.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. It's a great. It's a great song. Actually, so this is really inside baseball. But so we bought a freezer like 5 years ago, and it's one of the Asian models where they have all these beeps and songs every time you open and close the freezer. And I open it, and every time I open it, it goes ba-na-na, ba-na-na, and in my head I'm thinking, what if God was one of us? Every time I open that freezer,
Maybe that's a secret message coming out from China.
Is Jesus in this freezer somewhere? I hear you, Lord. Oh my gosh, this frozen steak, it's got the face of Christ on it.
Maybe they're sending a message to the Western Church.
Maybe so.
You don't know.
You've seen that. That started to happen, where other countries are sending missionaries to
Oh,
America.
yeah. Well, South Korea's been doing it.
Yes, they're the main one.
Yeah.
But and we need it. You know what?
Listen, that is no joke. There are churches that need it.
Lord help us. Lord help us. Well, you were talking about Santa Claus. So yesterday, I got to tell you about this. What a great discussion on the message this has been so far. So yesterday, we took the kids to the Alabama Theater.
Yeah.
Because they do that Christmas series of movies.
Oh, yeah.
You know the one they added this year?
It's a Wonderful Life?
No, Die Hard. Because everyone keeps talking. So
I've never seen Die Hard.
I don't recommend it.
I haven't either, and my father-in-law thought I was crazy when I said that last night.
I've never seen
need to
it.
watch it.
I'm like,
I've never seen it. I don't even have a clue as to why they keep saying it's a Christmas
Well,
movie.
it's because it happens at Christmas time,
Oh.
and it's like this Christmas party, an office Christmas party gets hijacked by terrorists, that sort of thing. You don't need to watch the whole movie. Here's the only thing you need to watch. It's a minute long, and because the guy. What's the guy's name that plays the dad in Family Matters? Carl, whatever. You don't know Family. You only watched Andy Griffith. Anyway, there's a meme where they play the Family Matters theme song over all these scenes from Die Hard. It's hilarious. I sent it to Bubba Willis. Clearly, you had to be here. had to be there.
Yeah. So you took your kids yesterday to see Die Hard.
I did not. But the funny thing is, so I took them to see, it's like the Christmas cartoon trilogy. They show Charlie Brown Christmas, then The Grinch, then Rudolph. But before the movie starts, the guy comes out on the organ. You've been there. They play that organ is amazing.
It is amazing.
It is incredible. He plays the organ and he says, "Okay, before we get started, by the way, thank you today for bringing all your kids to this holiday production of Die Hard." And of course, the place just erupts with laughter. It's so funny. So that made me laugh. But so Charlie Brown Christmas, and I barely saw it because I'm carrying the baby around. And then The Grinch, whatever. But then we got to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. When was the last time you watched that one, Rudolph? The old claymation.
It's been a long time.
You've got to watch it again. The unintentional hilarity in that thing with like the animation and their mouths don't move right, and it is so. I just could not stop laughing. They say at the beginning of the movie, "This is very important that Santa's got to select 8 reindeer for the sleigh," and at the end, Rudolph's flying away. There's only 7 reindeer on the sleigh. And then the guy shows up, Yukon Cornelius shows up with his dog sled. Do you know he's got like one of Miss Debbie's dogs and a beagle, and they're all mismatched, and it's hilarious.
I've always remembered that and thought about that, how dumb it was. Those 3 dogs of Debbie's couldn't pull a bowl of doggy chow.
Anyway, rewatch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and when you get to the head elf, whose costume was completely copied for Elf starring Will Ferrell later on. When you get to the head elf, notice the point where they blatantly just change his voice mid-movie to another, and it was funny to me.
You know, I read an article on that very comedy that the first time it ever aired, they never saved the toys off of Misfit Island.
Really?
In the original.
And they had to go back and change it?
Listen, so many people wrote in about it that they went back and rewrote the ending of it so that Santa would save the animals, the toys off of Misfit Island, and they just drop them out by parachute to the homes. Yeah, that has only aired one single time. That original copy.
That actually makes sense, because I've always thought that the ending was a little bit stilted, and then Santa has this one line that he awkwardly says 2 times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you saying the exact same line twice? It's because they had to go back and edit that in.
Yep, they did. They
It
sure
is
did.
a classic, though.
I'd love to see the original just to see it.
Yeah.
But they said it has never aired but one single time.
Well, let's talk to Pike. He knows all the conspiracy people. He could probably find us an
That was a
original
communist plot back then, back in that time.
copy. Back then, it still is.
Yeah. Well, it is again, new. It's new.
Rudolph? Come on.
Rudolph.
It's so blatant.
Rudolph.
The Germans, they're trying to, they're right, it's right here. They're still coming after us.
Do you know where you get no conspiracy theory? Right here in
Amen.
this.
Isaiah speaks directly against it.
Yeah.
Do not call conspiracy what I have not labeled a conspiracy. I think it's Isaiah 7:14.
Yeah, that's right.
That's an important one. All right, back
It
to
is.
God's word.
Yeah,
Thank you. I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yeah, I'm the ADD one. You're bringing us
We're
back
both,
to. I'm
man.
proud
It's
of.
bad when we both are acting up
Are
on the
you
same
still?
day.
How much medication are you still taking
I'm
after that
not.
surgery? Oh, okay. You're
I
just
have-
back in action.
I'm a week from it, nothing. No medication at all.
Oh, I got that reference.
I
Wrong.
tell you, my back was really tired yesterday
Yeah?
after preaching. the
I gave
Tucson.
you a chair out there.
I
You
know.
don't want the chair.
No. I feel like Dr. Stanley when I sit down at that. You know how in the last years of his ministry, he'd sit down at that little desk and bless his heart, he
Just
could
there.
still lay it out there.
Fireside chat.
Yeah.
Everyone is just chuckling now when every time you go towards the stairs, and then you're like, no, I can't do that.
I can't do. It is such an ingrained habit, I guess, that when I get to a point that really excites me, I start down and I think, don't do that. So Anyway,
I'd
but
take the stairs away, but that would even be more dangerous.
oh my
I
gosh,
feel like.
yeah,
You
just step off into clear
step
air.
into nothing.
Yep.
That's a step of faith you don't want to take.
That's a leap of faith.
I don't
That's
recommend-
Kierkegaard's leap of faith.
Yes.
So,
So the Trinity.
yes.
You talked about. So you said. You said it doesn't really make sense in English that the Son comes out of the Father, but it doesn't necessarily make complete sense in Greek either because it's a mystery.
Well, if you
Right?
just understood the Greek. No, it is. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. I just wanted to emphasize the fact that Christ was leaving his throne,
Yes.
and tied in with all of this, there is the Trinity. You know, when does Jesus stop being God and start being man? Well, he never stops
right,
that.
Right. That's a
And
fallacy.
that all comes off of a letter, a sincere letter from a friend in another state in a different church. And they're studying through the book of Hebrews, and she's gotten this whole thing. Well, when Jesus was resurrected and he goes back to heaven, he no longer has his earthly body. Oh, yes.
Yes, he does.
It's a resurrected,
Yes.
earthly body. But it's still a body. That's why Jesus says to Andrew, reach forth here and put your finger in these wounds. And he says, spirits don't have bone and flesh. So he's implying this is bone and flesh, but it's just resurrected bone and flesh.
Well, and you wisely quoted from Crown Him with Many Crowns.
Yeah,
These
yeah.
wounds yet visible,
Visible above,
in
yeah.
beauty glorified. Yeah, so that's...
In beauty glorified.
Right.
I kept thinking, what is that phrase? But when things pop into your mind in the middle of a sermon and you haven't actually looked the stuff up, I'm trying to think in beauty glorified.
I think that's what it is.
I think you're right.
And it's funny. I had that planned for the response song at first, even before you said that. But then I ended up changing it because that was kind of early in the message. But yes, Christ never stops being God. And certainly as a child and a younger man, that was something I didn't understand, that he was God from the beginning, he was the Son from the beginning.
Yeah.
And
there's only one throne in heaven.
I didn't even
And
think
God
about that.
occupies it, and the Lamb occupies it.
Simultaneously.
Yes. And when you read through that, you have to stop and reread it and think about what it's saying, but that's what's happening.
One of the most striking things to me still about the Incarnation is that though Christ the Son is eternal, the Incarnation had a particular beginning,
Yes,
bound
indeed.
by time,
Yes.
which is fascinating.
That's what that aorist tense is telling you right there. That it happened at the Incarnation. I came forth from the Father, or is the Greek, I came out of the Father and have come into the world. Well, that's the act of the Incarnation. It did happen, that's the aorist tense, it happened in a point in time in history, and it still has ramifications.
That there was, and trying to square that with God's immutability has always just boiled my brain, because Christ, there's a sense in which, because the human nature of Christ did not exist until the
Right.
Incarnation.
Right.
And so now Christ exists from here to eternity in these two simultaneous
Yeah.
hypostatic
Yeah.
natures.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And
wild, man.
that's why in the Old Testament, I personally believe, now one of my, I guess I'd say one of my Old Testament heroes, who was Dr. Merritt. Eugene Merrill, I'm sorry.
Merrill, yeah.
Eugene Merrill does not believe that the angel of the Lord in the Old Testament is the pre-incarnate Christ. I happen to believe that it is. But we refer to Christ's appearance in the Old Testament as a pre-incarnate appearing of Christ,
Sure.
So there was a time when he was not incarnated.
Right.
And then he was incarnated, which he will be that way for all of eternity from that moment, that point in time right there.
Yeah, to me it makes sense that he would appear in that way, like especially just showing his people like the three persons
Right.
of the Trinity. You know, God, the Father, obviously the Spirit is abundantly present in the Old
Yeah,
Testament,
yeah.
so it makes sense that the Son would appear as the angel of the Lord.
Yeah.
Proper, not proper
And
noun, whatever it is.
that's not
Genuine
a
article,
settled
definite
issue.
article.
You know, they're just really good, great, conservative, far smarter than me theologians like Dr. Merrill, who says that it's not. I think that it is, but ultimately, we'll know one day.
Is he the one that wrote the life and times of Christ the
No,
Messiah?
that's Alfred Edersheim.
That's right. See, I've had
He
that one
wrote
on my
Kingdom
desk
of
before.
Priests.
Yes.
That's his famous.
Merrill,
but
yeah.
he's written a bunch of other stuff as well.
I love that, but I'm far from having read the whole thing.
Yeah.
But, I love both of those.
Yeah.
So what else do we need to cover with regards to the message from yesterday? I know this is the problem, everybody. By the time we get to this point on Monday, Pastor, it's almost as if yesterday didn't exist to him. He's knee deep in next week's message. That's what he wants. I'm actually interrupting his study right now.
He is.
He's great. He's very gracious to forgive me for that.
I am.
And we only have another 45 minutes to go. So just think.
Where's Joe today?
She's
We
out
don't have
sick.
anybody to tell her, get this on my desk.
I
Joe, get
know.
this on my desk.
Joe, we need a full biography of Eugene Merrill. Get that on our desk immediately. She's under the weather. I think she'll be in later. We got people under. Are you feeling okay still?
Yeah, I feel great.
We got a lot of people under the weather out there. So prayers. Well, this is not a great ending part, but this made a deep impression on me yesterday. Maybe a final word about the message. You took a long time to set up the darkness of the world without Christ.
Yeah.
Which I think that's an important point. Like Christ even, the Scripture records that he comes at night.
Yeah.
And then the world that he came into was so dark. The Jews under the Roman occupation and oppression, that sort of thing. And then you talked again about how our lives today, like there's so much darkness.
Oh, this past week was unreal.
The stories that fill the news, which isn't necessarily that much different from a typical news cycle.
Yeah.
There's always darkness out there. And so there's a sense in which we as Christians are bringing Christ into that darkness. That's our responsibility.
That's
It's
a
to
good point.
Speak his name and speak his gospel into the...
In the midst of the darkness of this world. That was the world into which Christ was born. It was the world into which he was crucified and was resurrected and ascended from. It was still under Roman occupation. That didn't change.
That's true.
What changed was the human heart, man, because of the forgiveness given to us through the resurrection, through the shedding of the blood and the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
Well, and the gospel was so powerful,
Yep.
historically speaking,
Yep.
that within a few centuries it
Yep.
had become the
Yep.
religion
The
of
Roman
the day.
Empire that had been for nearly 1,000 years came to an abrupt halt. Yeah.
It's like that old Mark Twain quote, how does a man go bankrupt? Very, very slowly and then all at once.
Yes. That is good. That's good. That's
You've
good.
read that one before. I know that. I'm sure that one's in your Rolodex.
Yeah. He was a guy who was always financially up and down, at least in his early days.
Well, it's those kind of guys that come up with the best quotes.
Yeah.
Robin Williams famously, who was unfortunately had many drug issues, said that cocaine is God's way of telling you you're making too much money.
My gosh. Oh, my word.
Should we end it there?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, just remember this. In the world you have tribulation, but take courage. I've overcome the world.
He has overcome the world, and we're going to
Yes.
celebrate that.
Yes.
When is it Wednesday night? Is the
Wednesday
24th?
night. Wednesday night. It always falls on the 24th.
It always falls in I'll keep that in mind. Services at 3 and 5. Remembrance service,
The remembrance service is at 4.
4 p.m. in the middle, and And we'll see you guys there, and then we'll also see you for one service, 10 a.m. on the 28th.
That's right, just one service at 10 o'clock, which gives me from 10 to 12 to preach.
That's exactly right.
Looking forward to it.
I'm going to take the week off. I don't even have to plan any music. Love you guys. Say goodbye, Pastor.
Goodbye, Pastor. The last one of the year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we won't be here.
That's it. That's it.
That's all right. They can do without
I'll
us.
see you next year.
Okay, so